What's up, guys? My name is Kevin Rivera, and if you haven't heard about me, it's probably because I only have 620 followers on Instagram. In today's video, I want to talk about a very important topic, a very global topic, a topic that everyone can kind of relate to an extent, no matter who you are, no matter how old you are. And that topic is the big D, depression. I know in my last video I said that this video was going to be more informative, more factual, more, bringing in all those types of things, but I felt like with my personality I'd want to get to a result less than inform you guys on things that you guys probably already know and probably already go through. I'm gonna make this video and hopefully future videos more about motivation than anything else, kind of motivating you guys, kind of giving you guys a bit of hope, because I know that's what most people do need when they're going through this awful mindset that we unwillingly put ourselves into. This is a very touchy subject for me because it's something that I've been dealing with for a very long time, and I've been through every single kind of elevation and the lowest of the points and everything that has to do with this topic. It has its extremes and it has its downs and it has its ups, and it's very overwhelming, and I get that. So I want to kind of bring you guys this video so you guys don't really feel alone. And if you guys can benefit out of anything from this, it's that you'll never be alone. I'm always just a DM away. I'm always going to be around. No matter who you are, no matter who's watching this video, I'm always going to be there. And that's the first thing I want to touch on: support. You need support when you're in this situation. When you're suffering from depression, you put yourself in this kind of mental state where you think you're alone and you feel like you have to deal with all of this alone, and you don't. And it's not because you're alone that you're going through this, and it's not because you're surrounded by people that you're going through this. This is just something that was given to you, unfortunately, and you'll never really know what to do with it until you kind of acknowledge the fact that you have it. You have to acknowledge the fact that it's a part of you more than it's something wrong. And the moment you acknowledge that, the easier it'll be to open up to people about it. When I was going through it at my worst state, I want to say it was about sophomore year of high school, I put myself in that position. I put myself in the state that I'm alone, that I don't have anybody, that I have to deal with everything that I was feeling on my own. I didn't talk to my parents, I didn't talk to my friends, I didn't talk to anybody about it because I thought I was strong enough to deal with it on my own, and if I told anybody about it, it would just bring them down instead of opening a door for me to feel better. And it's really that mindset that puts us in a worse situation, because something that I could have dealt with when it first started now turned into something huge, and it turned into this big snowball that started small, and just with time, me just leaving it alone, it kind of just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it led me to a mindset that no one should go through, that no one should really experience in this lifetime, because it's such a dark place that you never really feel like you could escape it. And that's the scariest part, that you think that this is going to be something that's going to last with you forever, that it's always going to be a part of you, that you're never going to have good days, that those good days that you had in the past now are filled with darkness, and there's always the negative side of everything. What if I told you that that's not true? What if I told you that all of that is temporary? Everything that you're possibly feeling right now is temporary. What if I told you that there's hope, that there's a light at the end of this tunnel? It's crazy, right? You probably don't even believe it, but it's true. I went through it, and you can get through it as well. I'm not anybody. I'm not an important social media persona. I'm not someone that's here to give you false hope. I'm not anybody that's, full of shit. I'm actually somebody that has been in the same shoes that you've been in and got through it. And I'm here to tell you that it is important that you keep in your head that this is all temporary. I've been through a lot in my life. I'm a cancer survivor. A lot of you probably don't know that, but I was diagnosed with neuroblastoma, and neuro not meaning head. Neuro is just the type of tumor that it was. The tumor was between my left lung and my heart, and it was closer to my heart. The doctor said that the moment it reached my heart, I would die, because it already metastasized. Metastasized means it had spread. It had spread to about almost every organ in my body, and the doctors told my mom that I had a 2% life expectancy. So that really took a toll when I found out, and it was like, what? That's insane. How could I possibly have lived through all of that? And it was because I had support. That support started from a very young age. I came here from Cuba when I was 2, and it was just me and my mom. My biggest support was my mom. And till this day, I cannot thank her enough for everything that she's done for me. Since that happened in my life, I was never really a regular kid. When I was in elementary school, first grade, I was the type of kid to always be put in timeout. I went to a very small private school where my graduating class, just to give you an idea, my 5th grade graduating class only had 6 kids in it, 5 boys and 1 girl. I grew up in a very, like as I told you, I grew up in a private school. It was very, very small. To put it into perspective, I was put in detention in a school that had no detention. I was the first kid to ever be put in detention because instead of focusing on class, I was too busy focusing on what I could do to make people laugh or what I could do to get attention. And that attention is what made me feel better and not have to deal with the way I was feeling because of everything that I had already gone through at such a young age. And the craziest part is I managed to put everybody in my pocket. I managed to get all of those teachers to love me. I managed to get all of administration to love me. And even with all of that, I was still put in detention. I was still put in timeout. I wasn't allowed to play in free time because of all the dumb stuff that I used to do as a little kid. And that was just my upbringing. So I started off like that very young. I was never really focused on school. I was never really focused on the stuff that I really had to do because, again, I was focusing on what I could do to make everybody else around me laugh and love me instead of just like focusing on classwork and all that stuff. That stuff kind of became less important than having the people around me feel joyous and love me for making them feel joyous, which is insane because at such a young age, like that's not what you're really thinking about. That shouldn't be your mindset. Your mindset should just be to have fun and do kid stuff. But that's where I was because of everything that I've been through. It started like I went through all of elementary school kind of like that, you know, in and out of like detention and in and out and like always getting in trouble for something. I once bit a kid's fucking leg. And that was crazy for me because, like, who the fuck do I think I am? It was another big thing going through middle school because, again, I was surrounded by a very small group of people from 1st to 5th grade. And so I walked into middle school and I was introduced to, like, this huge group of people that, in all honesty, just, like, weren't what I was used to. So I didn't know how social I could be until I reached middle school. So it was about like the first week and I had already made a bunch of friends and I was surrounded by all sorts of people from like the gothic kids to the sports guys and the girls and all these types of people that surrounded me on a day-to-day basis. And I just managed to put them all in my pocket. The same way I put all my teachers in elementary school and the administrators in my pocket, I managed to put everybody in my pocket and kind of put up this facade that I was this totally 100% okay human being because that's the person that I thought everybody needed to see me at. And it wasn't until my sophomore year of high school that I realized that all that time I took just putting up this facade, I was just suppressing what I was really feeling inside. I finally got to a point where I broke. I'm not going to get into detail about the way I broke or why I broke or other things I did because that's just negative energy that I'm putting out there that I don't want you guys to just experience and know that that's something that you can expect or something that is common for everybody. So I'm not going to put myself there. I'm just going to put you to about a year ago. I went through depression. I went through that very dark place. And in all honesty, it got to a point where I thought I could never get out of it. Because instead of waking up every day hopeful, I woke up every day thinking that, damn, this is the same cycle. This is the same thing that I'm going through every single day and nothing's going to change. So I was in that mindset and I felt alone. I didn't have a concept of my surroundings. I didn't acknowledge the people that surrounded me every day because I was too focused on feeling bad. I didn't count my blessings, my life blessings. I just counted all the negative stuff that was going on with me, and that itself was driving me more crazy than the actual depression. It was like, but it was because of the depression that I was doing that. It's crazy to me because I see myself now and I can do stuff like this. I can put myself in a situation where I can be the voice to people that are feeling the way that I felt. And it all, and like, it's not, I want to state to everybody that it's not where you are right now, it's where you're gonna be tomorrow. And yeah, I'm not saying tomorrow like a week from now. I'm not saying tomorrow like next year, next month. It's not that. It can easily start tomorrow with just a switch of your mindset. That little switch that you can flip. And I know you probably don't believe it right now, but hear me out. Because it's a switch. It's something that you turn on the next day, the next morning, the night before, that changes everything, that changes that cycle. That same cycle that you think you're in, you can break that cycle. And it's super easy. It starts off with acknowledging that you're not alone. It starts off by putting yourself in the situation where instead of counting all the bad shit that you have in your life, you start counting all the blessings, all the things that you have. And by blessings, I don't mean like money and the best phone and I live in the coolest house, I drive the dopest car. It's none of that. That stuff is dope. I'm like, it's great. Those materialistic things are good, and they make you happy for as long as you let them be important. For example, if I get a brand new iPhone X when it first comes out, a brand new iPhone X that no one has yet, it's very limited, it just came out, I have it. It's great. I have it, I'm the coolest dude because I have my brand new fucking phone. Eventually a new one's gonna come out that other people are gonna get and that you're gonna get, and it's constantly gonna be changing, and at some point it's just not gonna matter because at the end of the day it's just technology. Technology and those materialistic things aren't gonna keep you happy for that long. The same way that you can buy the biggest house and own the most expensive car, at the end of the day, those materialistic things are just always gonna be that. They're just always gonna be materialistic because eventually you're gonna get used to having those things and realize that that's not what happiness is about. Happiness is about being at peace with yourself, finding a point in your life where you look in the mirror and you're happy with what you see. Not the materialistic things, but what's inside. And that's something that takes a long time to do, but the first step is acknowledging that you are not alone. I cannot stress that enough. The moment you finally go up to your mom, dad, best friend, your sister, your brother, anybody that you keep close to your heart, the moment you go to them and you're like, hey, look, I have something that I want to tell you. It's something that I've been dealing with, and I feel like it's the right time for me to let it out. The moment you do that, that's when the change happens. You have to acknowledge that depression is at its worst when you are alone. Those days that you feel like you need to stay inside your room, in your four walls, and not get up out of your bed and not go out and do something, not go for a run or just take a breath of fresh air or just let the sun hit your skin. The moment you realize that those things are what's going to help you as well is when you will start feeling better too. Now, put those two things together. Motivation, pushing yourself to get out of bed, and knowing that there's someone out there mindful of your situation. And those are already two factors that you have that are completely different than what you've been through in the past. Because instead of feeling alone and like you're living the same cycle in life, you need friends, you need people. You need to go out there and do something, interact, meet people. But just remember that whatever you put out is gonna be taken back in. And if you put out a bunch of negative stuff and you are constantly putting yourself in that mindset where things are just always going to be rough and it's always going to be bad and everything is never going to change and it's just going to be the same cycle over and over again, that's the same thing you're going to receive back. Like, because what's changing? Nothing's really changing. You're not changing your mindset. You're not changing what you're doing. You're just living the same life and you're never going to get out of it. No one's going to get through what you're going through but you. No one's gonna know what to do but you. It takes time to kind of put yourself in the mindset that, okay, this is what's going on. this is what I need to do. And it takes time. This doesn't happen overnight. So you need to have patience with yourself. You can't switch like that overnight. You can start overnight. You can take the first step overnight. You can think about and dream about how you're going to express what you're feeling to that one person. It takes one person. Don't go out there and tell your entire friendship group, because those are a lot of opinions that are come back to you that could be negative or positive depending. But bring yourself out of your bed, out of your chair, out of your room, and go and speak your mind. Because if you lock yourself in here, you're only going to drive yourself crazier. And that's a fact. That's something that's crazy. Our mind and the way we think is so powerful. And it's so unbelievably like controlling over everything that we do. And the moment you lock yourself in here, that's when things go bad. So you have to let what you're thinking in here out into the world, into somebody, for somebody to finally take what you're saying and help you get through it. Like I said, I told my mom. My mom's first reaction was, why didn't you tell me this before? And I had to explain to her that it's not that easy. It's not easy to talk about. It's not like I have a cyst or something like that, or like a very like embarrassing mole somewhere. It's not something that, you know, it's you go to the dermatologist and you just get it removed and that's it. It's something serious. It's something that with time has kind of morphed itself into you, and it's now a part of you, and it's something that you deal with. It's crazy. And the moment you kind of go out there and you finally tell them, at first it's going to be difficult to do, but you'll catch yourself really letting go the more you express it. I'm very proud of myself that I was able to tell at least my mom, which is to me the most important human being in my life. I love my mom with everything in me, and she herself has been through a lot. And I thought that if I told her, that it would bring more burden on her, and that's the mindset I put myself in, and that's something that I had to snap out of and be like, look, like at the end of the day, no one cares for me more than my mom. I came out of that lady. And so when I finally told her, she told me that we were gonna find help, that we were gonna immediately seek help. And the moment it got to a point where I found help, that's when things really clicked for me. And it helped. It did. The help with seeing a psychologist really helped me. But it was what I learned from the psychologist that led me to kind of heal. And what I learned from her was that through talking, through communicating, through communication, those things that you're feeling, those things that I was feeling, those emotions that a lot of us feel, slowly go away. No one's really broken. You don't need fixing. You're not broken. You just have more luggage than most people do. And you'd be surprised, everyone deals with depression. Everybody has reached a point in their lives, no matter how successful you are, no matter how old you are, you have reached a point in your life where you have gotten to a point somewhere in your life that you have gotten down on yourself. You have felt bad about yourself. You have felt bad about something. Everybody has done it. Whether you like to admit it or not, everybody has felt low at some point. And it's about getting through it. It's about getting through it that's important. Because if you continue to see yourself as broken, you think that there's something to fix, but there's nothing really to fix. It's just something to acknowledge and get over. It's a mental state that you put yourself in that will help you escape from that dark place that you're in. It gets you to a point where instead of a little candle being lit in a very dark room, it's a very bright room with just a little dot of darkness. Because everybody has that darkness. It's just human. It's just like what we are, what we do. Acknowledge who you are and be the best version of yourself. don't worry about other people and what they're doing and looking as good as them, and putting yourself in that place, because the moment you do that, you're just spiraling right back down, and it's not worth it. Imagine, we have a set amount of time on this planet. We have a set amount of time in this world. And if we spend all that time feeling bad, pitying ourselves, becoming depressed, and, just filling yourself up with negativity, what are you going to do? Who are you going to become at the end of the day? You're just going to be a big ball of just negativity, and everything that you could have experienced is going to be wasted. There's going to be a point where if you do acknowledge the things that I'm saying, and you start with the first 2 steps, just offering a lending hand and changing your everyday cycle. If you do the things that I'm saying, and if you take to account the tips that I've given, those 2 first steps, where you go and you actually grab the hand that, oh my God, woo, come on, you got this. The moment you acknowledge the 2 things, the 2 first steps that I said, actually going out and seeking help and changing your everyday cycle, the moment you do those 2 things, you will start to see a difference in your life. And the moment you do those 2 things, you will see that the rest of the steps and the rest of the things that you thought were going to be impossible just all of a sudden become easier to handle. And that's when you will finally see that there's beauty in our existence. There's beauty in our heartbeats and our brain waves and our movements and our presence on this earth to actually do something. I believe in you. You have to believe in yourself. And like I said earlier, if you're watching this and you're going through anything similar, even if it's to the most extreme to the smallest bit of anything that I said, if you're feeling anything other than happy, reach out to me. I will always be there to lend a helping hand and to give advice. If you're a friend of mine and you feel like this, I really hope that you see this video and you take into account that you'll always have a friend right here. You'll always have somebody looking out for you, somebody that will give you the advice that you need and will always try to guide you towards the light instead of away from it. Because I know how hard it is, and I know how hard it is to deal with it on your own, because I did it, and I don't want anybody that surrounds me on a day-to-day basis to deal with it. So please, you guys can contact me on any of my social medias that are linked in the description, or you guys can DM me. If you're watching this, I want you to know that you can always DM me, or if you're also watching this and you're a friend of mine, you can always call or text me, whatever one you decide to do. You can follow me on any of my social medias, which are going to be linked in the description, and just shoot me a message. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know if there's anything I could do to help you, because I might not be a professional, but sometimes a professional's help isn't good enough. You need somebody that you could relate to. And I hope to become somebody that you guys can depend on. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this very sentimental video and this very personal video, please hit that like and subscribe to my channel and turn on those post notifications so you never miss a post. And also follow me on all my social media that's going to be following up in the outro right about now. Pocket I took it. Go away.